Gentlemen, stop your engines.
Well, as I walk out of the Nerve Centre here at Warnerton of the European Late Model Series, we welcome you back to this brilliant 3/8 mile oval here in Belgium. Now, in the last programme, we saw the cars and the drivers take their very first visit to the UK, one of 3 visits they're going to make this year, and it was over to the wide open spaces of Lydden Hill. Now, they weren't using the whole of the Lydden Hill circuit, an oval specially designed for them to use, and those wide open spaces, well, worked for some, didn't work for others. To be honest, right at the top of the points chart, Gary Ellis and Xavier Van der Meers had an absolute nightmare. But whilst they were having a nightmare, it was this guy, the 2007 champion 07, Jean Vasseur, that took advantage of that. 3 races and took 2 victories out of those 3. Well, we're back to the home and we'll see what happens today as once again we go European Late Model Series racing.
Green. Indeed we do, with the green down then, and it's Colin White alongside Paul Bowman, the 2 former Stockcars right at the front of this grid. Colin White in the 78 car, the bluey colour, and Paul Bowman, driver number 39 on his inside. Well, not anymore, because Colin White has already put himself straight into the lead. Colin has got quite a bit of experience of this Warnerton Speedway. He's been round here not only in that car before, but also in his hot rods too. Bertrand Zor then in car number 71, making very good progress around car number 39 as well. And there we can hear our race director telling various drivers to keep inside. So Bertrand Zor it is then in car number 71, 22 is right behind him, but there is our race leader. It's car number 78, Colin White. So it's a Franco-Dutch battle there between Wim Moonen in the all-yellow 73 car and Vincent Lehook to his outside in the orange-white machine. Wim Moonen appears to have the battle. He's got the inside line, of course. One of the features of this Warnerton Speedway, you may have seen Colin White's bus parked up in the middle, the paddock very much in the middle of the racetrack here. And that's where, of course, all the race teams enjoy the scintillating action of European late model racing here at the Warnerton Speedway. So car 17 then, Bruce Andrews very much in the mix for this, and he's being hounded now by Kelvin Hassel.
39, stay inside, the leader is coming. 39,
once again, our race director telling car number 39 to keep to the inside to allow room for these guys to overtake. Look at this from Kelvin Hassel. Now Kelvin is driving the number 13 car with the black body and orange roof. As once again we cut back to our race leader, number 78, Colin White. Colin White now being hounded by Anton Gonnerson, and Kelvin Hassel coming into that, as well as Bruce Andrews too. All of them taking the outside line and getting past the back marking cars. Now toned to the bone, one of the Raptor Racing drivers, Anton Gonnerson, really is on the back bumper of 78 Colin White now. Oh, and there we see the familiar yellow and red with the unfamiliar white front of car number 95, Gary Ellis. The reason for the white front, well, Gary and his team have worked all night following a damaging Lydden Hill outing, and to get back out on track here at Warnerton Speedway today, travelled through the night and worked through the night to get that car back up on track. So well done to Gary and his team. Gary in turn being hounded by 07 Jean Vasseur. But here we go now with Kelvin Hassel, putting some pressure on Anton Gonnerson, toned to the bone, the Raptor Racing driver, being hounded now by Kelvin Hassel. Interesting there, because Anton Gonnerson, one of the well-funded drivers in this series, runs a fleet of very, very nice road cars, and he is being pursued by Kelvin Hassel, who really struggles for each and every penny to go racing, to the point where he actually sleeps in the garage alongside his car. There couldn't be a more mixed comparison between these 2 drivers, and they are absolutely side by side. Kelvin Hassel on the outside, car number 13, toned to the bone, Anton Gonnerson on the inside. And at the moment, you have to say that Kelvin sleeping in the garage appears to give him just a little bit of an edge, because he's got past him. Or has he? Anton Gunnarsson fights back. But Kelvin Hassel, what a brilliant drive. A clean, superb drive around the outside. Gets the better of Anton Gunnarsson.
5 laps to go, gentlemen. 5 laps.
So 5 laps remain in this, here at Warnerton Speedway, the European Late Model Series racing. And Kelvin Hassel in car number 13 it is that's leading the way, the black car with the orange roof. And then we see Anton Gunnarsson, then it's Bruce Andrews and Gary Ellis once again just coming into shot there. But Kelvin Hassel is on an absolute charge in this heat. In the earlier programmes in the European Late Model Series, we've seen just how Kelvin has suffered the fate of bad luck, but now he's got it all together. Kelvin Hassel, then it's Anton Gunnarsson, then it's Bruce Andrews, and then we see Gary Ellis and Jean Vasseur there battling through, and then the earlier leader, 78, Colin White. So just 3 laps remain in this heat here at the Warnerton Speedway for the European Late Model Series. And it's fraught for positions 6, 7, 8 and 9. There we see Colin White, we see Wim Moonen. But right at the front it is Kelvin Hassel, who really has cut a dash through the entire field here at Warnerton. So we're on to our last lap, our last 3/8 mile around here for this Heat 1, and it is Kelvin Hassel that's going to take the checkered flag. Oh, as Wim Moonen spins right in the end of this race, Wim Moonen turns it around, checkers go out, that race declared, and one of our racers indeed waving the flags. But there is Kelvin Hassel, our race victor. There was the earlier leader, 78, Colin White.
So the number change, Kelvin, we thought it was going to work. Today, the proof of the pudding. A superb race. The dice between you and Anton Gunnarsson, where you were side by side for lap after lap after lap. Each of you must have so much respect for each other for you to be able to race like that.
No, he's an adorable bloke, he is.
But a fine victory. You worked your way through. Just tenacious. You were there when you needed to go for a gap. You went for it.
Yeah, of course, he was racing at Lyddon yesterday, and I didn't go, so I was well up for it today. And yeah, the traffic fell my way a bit, and I'm really good, aren't I?
Well, there's no question about that. You are, Kelvin, as you take the win. Second place, Anton Gunnarsson. Third, Bruce Andrews. Fourth was Gary Ellis. Jean Vasseur, fifth. And Colin White, sixth place, with Jos Janssen, seventh. And Kurt Dujardin, eighth place.
Now, on any given race day here at the Warnerton Speedway, it's not just the European Late Model Series racing that you can expect, but things like bangers, banger stocks, privy cars, super privy cars, and these, an old favourite of mine, the lightning rods. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back to European Late Model Series racing here at the Warnerton Speedway. Now I'm just checking out this lightning rod. Brings back great memories of my racing career. That's the dents, I'm afraid, as opposed to the trophy.
Keep the same speed.
So once again, we have the greens by Christoph van der Kerkhoff, part-time, sub-time racer in this European Late Model Series. In fact, he's a damn good driver. And it's Colin White once again, along with Paul Bowman right at the front of the grid. And Colin White speeds off into the lead. And there we see Colin White in the car number 78, Paul Bowman behind him. Then we see Vincent Lehoc as the cars come rattling through. And the all-star battle at the back between Jean Vasseur and Gary Ellis. And these two hire cars, the white and red cars from the Roots V8 Racing School, well, you can be out there racing for just a little less than €1,000 per event. What a bargain. We're on board with Gary Ellis to see what it's like from a driver's eye perspective to propel one of these powerful V8 monsters around this raceway. And Gary Ellis and Jean Vasseur with a touch together. It was nothing more than a kiss, but at these speeds it was enough to send Jean Vasseur around. Let's see how it happened. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other from my eyes perspective there, but Jean Vasseur then it was that got turned around.
Green, 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 green!
And again, Van der Kerkhoff sends them away. And now Colin White has trebled to Josh Janssen right alongside him, and Josh Janssen it is that goes straight into the lead. Another one of the Raptor Racing drivers. The all-black machines of the Raptor Racing team being represented there right at the front by Josh Janssen, with Colin White in a hot pursuit as once again we go on board with Gary Ellis, who's up the inside of Bertrand Zor. Gary Ellis had a disaster yesterday at Linden Hill, which caused so much work to be done. And here Tony Roots and Jean Vasseur and also Vincent Leharc all battling, and Tony Roots gets on the corner of Jean Vasseur.
07. It's the second time in 3 laps. So 07 to the pits, please.
Oh, and 07 being punished for that. And as you can see, he cut in onto Tony Roots. Tony had got absolutely nowhere to go. And around Jean Vasseur goes. And, well, he's been dealt with by the rod of iron holding race director that he is, Roland van der Meesch. So once again, we are ready to get this race restarted.
Green.
We have the greens. It's been full of incident and action already. And this huge pack go rattling through, and it's Colin White once again and Josh Janssen right at the front, and this time Josh hasn't got the bounce. Yes, he has. Into the lead he goes. Colin White on the outside line does his level best to keep on terms with him. We've got Vincent Leharc in the orange car, and also look at that, there's almost a Raptor Racing sandwich there between Anton Gonnerson and Kurt Dujardin, the other two Raptor Racing drivers in treble 2 and 22. What a finish that would be.
66.
So 66 being reprimanded also. So it is Josh Janssen then that's leading the way, and Vincent Leharc now coming under some pressure from the Raptor Racing drivers, Kurt Dujardin and Anton Gonnerson. Those are the matte black cars that are currently 4th and 5th. And already Gary Ellis is up there into that pack. As we see 71 Bertrand Zor retire, he's out into the paddock. Winston Graham there with some smoke coming off his car. So it's Josh Janssen from the Raptor Racing team that is leading then the 3 Raptor Racing cars that are out there. 77 Tony Roots in the all green machine. As one of those Raptor Racing cars hits the wall, that's Anton Gonnerson, toned to the bone, toned to the wall at that point, my goodness me. It's such a charged battle for the places at the moment back there.
Number 5, keep your line, stay inside, 5 and 34, stay inside, go racing, but stay.
So 5 and 34 being told to stay inside, black flags being administered there by race starter Christoph van der Kerkhoff. But it is a thrilling end to this race that has been packed with incident and packed with drama, and Gary Ellis doing everything he can to get into the places in car number 95, the yellow and red machine with the white front. That is Gary Ellis.
1 lap to go, 34.
So we're into the final lap now of this heat here at Warnerton Speedway for the European late models, and it is a real charge to the flag then for everyone desperately trying to get on terms and get places. But here is our winner, Josh Janssen from the Raptor Racing team. Wow, what a finish, and my goodness me, very nearly a whole car park there as everyone comes to a slow down. So our race winner then, Josh Janssen in treble 2. Second was Anton Gonnerson, so Raptor Racing block out the first 2 places on the podium with Gary Ellis 3rd, Tony Roots 4th and Kelvin Hassel in 5th. So live from the podium, the Start Marshals podium here at the Warnerton Speedway, we're about to get the feature final for the European late models underway. The warm-up laps have been done and dusted, and the drivers are just being seated into their right positions on the grid, and then we're going to go racing. So green we go then for the feature final for these European late models as Christoph van der Kerkhoff greens them away. So one of the higher cars right at the front of the grid, that's driver number 5, Eric Schmidt. Alongside him, Paul Bowman in one of the former ASCAR cars. And already Bruce Andrews on terms with them. There's Tony Roots, there's Xavier van der Meesch. Xavier being very quiet by his own standards during Heat 1 and Heat 2. Will he do it all in the final? Time will tell as we're on board with Gary Ellis. And funnily enough, Xavier van der Meesch is the very car we're following, that blue and white machine that's in front of Gary Ellis. And Paul Bowman goes round in car number 39. in a really dodgy position, which means every other driver has to take cover. And here once again we can see Paul Bowman, he just overcooks it into that bend and gets it into a slide that cannot be controlled. Let's go green once again. We're racing in the feature final here at the Warnerton Speedway. We're on board with Gary Ellis as he propels this monster V8 machine around this speedway. And this is the one that every driver wants to win. It is the feature final, which is currently being led by car number 17, Bruce Andrews. So back on board we go with Gary Ellis. Number 5 is Eric Schmidt. He's one of the guys that's hired a car to come out and go racing for less than €1,000 a meeting. What a bargain. But look at this, the veteran Bruce Andrews in car number 17 it is that's leading the way. Behind him we can see Bertrand Zor. Kelvin Hassel is right in front of us as we travel on board with Gary Ellis. Kelvin Hassel has already had a win today. He would dearly love to take the final as they battle their way through. Gary Ellis is on an absolute charge as he gets alongside the car number 22 of the Raptor Racing team. Dives outside. This is fraught and frantic stuff in this feature final. So Bruce Andrews then in car number 17, one of the prettiest cars out there. Tony Roots having a good time of it in car number 77 as well. And we're back on board with Gary Ellis. So we've got Kelvin Hassel on the outside trying to get past Xavier Vandermeer. Xavier, who very much likes to showboat and get his car sideways, but he's not doing that at the moment. He's keeping it very tight inside because he knows that Kelvin Hassel is trying to get past, and indeed he does. And Gary Ellis follows suit as well. Xavier Vandermeer having a very off day today here at Warnerton Speedway. So it's Kelvin Hassel who's right in front of us as we ride on board with Gary Ellis in car number 95. You can see his bonnet flapping in front of us. There's Tony Roots at 77, then it's Wim Moonen. And Jean Vasseur with a bit of panel damage there. Looks like his door panel is hanging off. We try to dive up the inside of Wim Moonen as we go back on board with Gary Ellis. We weren't quite close enough and Gary has to lift off to avoid putting Wim into a spin. Oh, and as we mentioned that, Xavier Vandermeer does go into a spin. And that was quite a collision into that wall. Looks like the side of that car is really down, and this is how it happened. An absolute knock into the corner from one of the Raptor Racing drivers, and that put him straight into the concrete wall. So Xavier Vandermeer, good to see him getting out of the car relatively unscathed. Just holds his head. I suspect of the amount of work that he's going to have to do to put that car back out on the track again. Well, an absolutely monumental crash for Xavier Vandermeer. Thankfully he's out of the car, and apart from being very, very shaken, he looks okay, which is more than can be said for his car. So we go green once again as this feature final resumes with Bruce Andrews right at the front of the pack driving that Chevrolet, the all-orange number 17 car. And it is Bruce Andrews. We go back on board with car number 95, Gary Ellis, who's really into the chase now. Gary Ellis, and we've got Tony Roots' Ford right in front, the all-green 77 machine. So it's a real battle here between Bruce Andrews, Tony Roots trying to get alongside him, Gary Ellis hounding the both of them at the moment. So it's orange, it's green, it's yellow, it's every colour under the rainbow as we go racing in the European Late Model Series. Full of colour, full of spectacle, but it's Gary Ellis who's taken to the outside to try and get alongside and get past Tony Roots in car number 77, who's right in front of him. It's Bruce Andrews that's leading the way though in car number 17, the veteran driver who's had experience of NASCAR racing, actually comes from Florida, lives and breathes this racing, as indeed does Tony Roots, who's right behind him, and Tony's taken to the outside now. Will Gary dive up the in? Yes, he's going to. Tony shuts the door. Gary tries hard once again. They are absolutely neck and neck. This is the fight for 1, 2, 3. Places 1, 2 and 3 with Jean Vasseur coming into the mix as well. Bertrand Zor going through. And these two cars that have been hired for the racing today. So we're right on the French-Belgian border here at the Warnerton Speedway. It's the closest you'll get to real NASCAR racing in Europe. And it is so exciting as Gary Ellis is still trying so hard. Oh, and he gets it very sideways, but manages to dial it back in. Car number 22 takes advantage of that and nips up the inside. And Gary is back on his charge again. It's Bruce Andrews leading in the orange car that we can see in front. Then it is Tony Roots. Back-marking cars being blue flagged to get out of the way. The faster race leaders are coming through. Gary Ellis very soon will have Jean Vasseur right on his back bumper as well. Jean Vasseur, of course, the fastest frog out there, the 2007 champion. Absolutely amazing stuff. Now Gary Ellis has got the back marking Paul Bowman on the inside, but it's Bruce Andrews that he's got to get past. He dives up the outside, and Gary Ellis knows this place better than anybody else, and he's making that wide outside line up high across the white line stick. Well done, Gary Ellis. He's into the lead now in this feature final here at Warnerton Speedway, and after the work that he's had to do and his team have had to do to get that car back out on track following a disastrous Liddon Hill, he is doing supremely well. Car number 95 then it is that's leading this feature final. The yellow-red with the white front machine of Gary Ellis then in car number 95. Jean Vasseur now is through into second place, and there the rest of the placemen coming through. Now if Vasseur manages to take a podium, that could propel him into the lead of the championship. Gary will be well aware of that. He's a real tactician. His brain will be working, adding up those figures as we have just one lap left to run. And look at the lead Gary Ellis has built up over Jean Vasseur. Absolutely incredible stuff. This European late model final here at the Warnerton Speedway has been fraught. And there the checkered flag for Gary Ellis then. Then we see Jean Vasseur and Kurt Dujardin. So there is our race winner, Gary Ellis. And the results then, Gary Ellis takes first place, second Kurt Dujardin, who's been propelled in front of Jean Vasseur, who got put back a place for an earlier indiscretion. Bruce Andrews fourth, Anton Gonnerson fifth. Well, after a weekend of frenetic race activity that's seen a couple of countries involved, Gary, I think for all the work and all the work your team put in, that feature final win was a just result.
Yes, yeah, it's a real good result. The help that Garrett gave me and everybody else last night, put the car back together. Yeah, come good in the end for everybody.
Absolutely unbelievable when we saw that car in the tyre wall that, in the space of actually just a few hours, it's back to that race-winning machine.
Yeah, well, luckily all it was in the tyre wall was panel work and the radiator, obviously. There's still a little bit of damage to it, but it was something I could get over for today.
And I guess, Gary, that's some testament to the strength of these cars and the economy of the racing, because actually what looks to the average Joe like me, huge damage, actually it's only a bit of panel work and that can be sorted.
Yeah, well the only new parts that went on that car was the front nose, because the other one was too far gone, and a little bit of steel work that holds the nose up. I mean, obviously the hood's the same, but it is past its sell-by date, but it is repairable.
Do you know, if Garrett was worth his salt, he'd have painted that nose cone, Gary, wouldn't he? You'd just have a word. Well done to you all.
All right, thank you.
Always looking as cool as a cucumber with his shades on and not hardly a bead of sweat down the forehead, Kurt Dujardin, at 74 years of age. How can you still look so good after taking a podium in that race?
73, that's the first thing. Second thing is I never sweat.
That was an incredible race, and just in the final stages, Kurt, it really looked, you were on terms with Jean, and I thought, hang on, you're going to get second here. Is
yes,
that how
I saw his tires, who were not good at all, and I could in the last laps approach him. 5 laps more I attack him, but it was too short. Next time I asked to the boss to make races of 50 laps. It's better.
We'd like 50 laps, which would be closer to his age. He's nothing like 73, Kurt Dujardin. Okay, the championship as it stands then. Jean Vasseur leads, second is Xavier van der Meers, third is Gary Ellis, with Wim Moonen, the Dutch driver, fourth in the championship, then Bertrand Zor and Bruce Andrews, fifth and sixth. Well, when it comes to action, when it comes to activity, and when it comes to exciting racing, there's nothing better than this European late model series. The feature final, magnificent as we expect, in the sunshine. In fact, we've had it all today, and here are the guys that have done the business.
Gentlemen,
We're back at Warnerton, home of the European Late Model Series, and it's an intense time because we've had 3 race meetings in the space of just a couple of weeks. That means it's hard and challenging not only on the drivers but on the race teams and of course on the race cars as well. Now it's at this point in the season when the championship really can be won and lost. At the moment, it's the guy behind us that's leading that championship table, the 2007 title holder. That's 07 Jean Vasseur. However, there's an awful lot of drivers knocking on his back bumper at the moment, as once again, we go racing.
And in the eye position, gentlemen, we go to green now. We go to green now, gentlemen. Everyone keep the same speed. Keep the same speed.
That the voice of our race director,
green.
Roland van der Meers, who gives us the green for this epic race meeting at the Warnerton Speedway, which features 3 heats and a long final as well. And in this programme, we feature the 3 heats. The qualifying heats into that final, and straight into the lead goes car number 5. Now car number 5 is being driven by Daniel Boys, who you will recall from some of the earlier programmes. Dan Boys was driving one of the Revolution Racing former SCSA Ascars, but Dan Boys out in one of the Tony Roots racing cars today. Car number 5, he's leading the way, Dan Boys. So here then at the Warnerton Speedway, as the drivers settle down, already beginning to show, there's Wim Moonen in the all-yellow car. The green 77 Tony Roots then. And there is Andrews in car number 17 with Vincent Lehook alongside him. Not far behind Bertrand Zor and also Wim Moonen in the all-yellow 73 machine. There goes Tony Roots. Jos Janssen in the matte black treble 2, part of the Raptor racing team. But this is Bertrand Zor in car number 71. Blue with the red roof. There's our race leader going through. There's our second place driver, and Wim Moonen now into 3rd place already in the early stages of this European Late Model Series race. And a bit of a patchwork build of a car there, the blue and white machine of Xavier van der Meers, which has suffered some fairly extensive panel damage, which means it's a coat of many colours at the moment. There's Vincent Lehook in the car number 66, being tracked by Bertrand Zor in car number 71.
5, stay inside. Number 3. Just stay inside. Keep the same speed.
Oh, and a spin there for Jean Vasseur and Jos Janssen
Yellow,
in car treble 2 and car 07. Now it looked to me as if Jean Vasseur just tried to get in on Jos, and there wasn't really a gap. Let's see it from a driver's eye perspective. The following Gary Ellis car has it on board, and as you can see, Jean Vasseur tries to cut in, but there wasn't really a gap there, and Jos Janssen had nothing to do but spin him around.
It seemed to me that there's slippery there inside, so must be a race incident.
So then, as our race director says, it's a bit slippery on the inside there, so that's down to a racing incident, nothing other than that, so no one will be penalised for that little excursion as 2 cars got very sideways. So it's Dan Boys who's going to lead them away. He's got Andy Andrews on his outside, Wim Moonen right behind him. Here's Gary Ellis, who's currently 7th place. We get the greens once again, and the European late models, these huge V8 cars roar back into life. Xavier van der Meers nips past Gary Ellis on the outside, and it's fraught at the front. It's Dan Boys that's leading. Wim Moonen tries to dive up the inside.
Don't push it.
No gap for him there though. Vincent Lehook we can see in front of Gary Ellis. Jean Vasseur now on the inside in car number 07. But leading the way still it is Dan Boys in car number 5. One of the Roots V8 Racing hire cars that Dan Boys is in today. Tony Roots himself showing really well in car number 77. But the man that is trying to get through is Wim Moonen. And Wim Moonen has done it. Into the lead he goes. So the Dutch driver, former Lightning Rod champion, leads this Heat 1 here at the Warnerton Speedway. Back on board we go with Gary Ellis, who's back down in 6th place with Xavier van der Meers, Tony Roots, Bruce Andrews to his outside. It's a tight pack here, and Jean Vasseur trying to find a way through in the 07. And once again, Jean is round.
Slow down, 07.
And again, it looked like Jean was just trying to get into a gap that wasn't there, and Gary actually went nowhere. Jean, here we go, we can see it again. Jean just turns himself around effectively and spins himself out.
Gentlemen, we did only 10 laps, so 10 laps remaining.
So as race director Roland van der Meers tells us, just 10 laps left of racing. So Wim Moonen then has got it all to do as he's got this charge of cars on his back bumper as once again we go green, and let's see what happens. Is Wim Moonen going to hold on for the win? Dan Boyce is on his outside. You've got Tony Roots right behind him. Tony Roots trying to get into second place. Xavier Vandermeer is pushing hard as well. But Wim Moonen has got away nicely. We can see Xavier now giving that V8 everything he possibly can. Dan Boyce sticks to the high outside line. Gary Ellis tucked up on the inside as well. Whilst all that's going on, Wim Moonen making haste his escape to take hopefully a race victory here at Warnerton Speedway. So Xavier is alongside Tony Roots now, opts for the outside. That lets Gary Ellis through. Tony Roots currently in second place in the all-green car, number 77. Xavier Vandermeer's outside there. Gary chops to the outside as well. We're counting down the laps in this Heat 1 at Warnerton Speedway, which is being led by Wim Moonen. The all-yellow car, 73 of Wim Moonen, as Gary once again dives up the inside.
5 laps to go, gentlemen.
Just 5 laps remain in Heat 1 of this European Late Model Series on the Warnerton Speedway, the Fast and Furious Warnerton Speedway. And Gary Ellis now through into third place. Tony Roots we can see in front of us, he's currently second. Xavier doing everything he can to try and get past Gary Ellis. And all the other drivers trying to have a pop as well. It really is close, frantic, exciting racing. It's what the European Late Model Stock Car Series is all about. And look at this, Sean Vasseur around the outside, again he goes. Holds his line and manages to get past Gary Ellis. Now you have to wonder whether Gary Ellis maybe sustained a little bit of suspension damage as he turned, or rather Jean Vasseur turned himself around on his right-hand front corner earlier in the race, because Gary ordinarily just wouldn't let anyone pass if he can help it. So Tony Roots second then, and then this battle between Xavier Vandermeer and Jean Vasseur is for third place. And they are absolutely neck and neck as they propel those V8 machines for all their work around the Warnerton Speedway. Wim Moonen really has disappeared into the distance, and there he is with just one lap left to run. For Wim Moonen, for Tony Roots, for Jean Vasseur, for Xavier Vandermeer. This will be a good result for Wim Moonen, who's been playing around 4th and 5th in the championship title. His hand is out of the window aperture, and he throws the flame out of the exhaust. Absolutely delighted with that race win. Wim Moonen then takes it, and takes it in fine style. What an excellent opening heat for this European Late Model Series. Wim Moonen then taking the win. Second, Tony Roots. Third, Jean Vasseur. Xavier Vandermeer 4th. Gary Ellis 5th. Jos Janssen 6th. Dan Boyce 7th. And Vincent Lehook in 8th.
There's many ways to arrive at a racing circuit, but hey, there can't be many better than a Lamborghini Murcielago. Sadly, it's not a TV presenter's car, it's a racing driver's car, and a new driver to this series, and that's Philippe Keulemans. Philippe, welcome. Now, I'm given to understand that you're involved in Lamborghini in some way.
Yeah, I'm involved for Lamborghini in Brussels, in Luxembourg, in Brussels. We have a shop over there, and we sell Lamborghini.
Okay, and you've arrived here, I'm told, having not turned a wheel in terms of racing experience. You've not been a racing driver before, but you came and you took part in the racing school and impressed everyone so much. You're out here actually taking part in the championship today.
Yeah, I tried last Friday to drive here, and so I had a small exercise, a complete day. It was very fun, and yeah, at the end of the day it was okay. I feel very comfortable in the car, so I said, yeah, why not try to participate on Sunday on this race. So here I am.
In between races, there's always lots of action. The paddock is awash with people repairing their cars, ready to go racing, and we're back with that action after this break. Earlier on, we met Philippe Keulemans, who's a new addition to the European Late Model Series. So impressed in a training day that he's actually competing in the championship now. And he's yet another one of the Raptor racing contingent. And there appears to be another competition going on, Anton, and that is who's got the best bit of equipment to arrive at the racing circuit. We've seen you with your Aston Martin, of course Philippe here with his Murcielago, and blow me down, you now arrive on a BMW motorbike.
That's because it's raining, actually, because I don't want to take out the Aston when it's raining. No, it's not true. There is no competition going on next to the track. On the contrary, it's just always nice to arrive on a racing track with a nice car. It goes together.
Okay. Now, I think it's fair to say that you invited Philippe along, and he took part in the training school, was hugely impressive. Did you expect that?
Actually, no. People are sort of too impressed when they get to meet the late models for the first time to make a good drive. And this guy who we've been driving on motorcycles in the desert with seems to be not impressed and seems to achieve rather well for his first time. I'm impressed this time.
We are ready to go to green. We are ready to go to green. Green, 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 green.
Oh, hang on a minute, Roland Christoph, our race starter, wasn't quite ready. He very nearly dropped the green flag on the track rather than waved it. But we're away now. This is Heat 2, the European Late Model Series here at the Warnerton Speedway, as we go back on board with Gary Ellis, who very nearly shunts into the patchwork quilt car of Xavier van der Meers. But we are away and racing. There once again is Dan Boys in car number 5, driving one of the V8's Roots V8 Racing School cars, and driving car number 3 in this particular heat, again in one of those European late model hire cars is Sergei Blanchard in the all black Roots V8 car number 3. To his outside is Bruce Andrews.
Number 5, stay more inside, number 5.
Gary Ellis chops in behind Sean Vasseur. This for the lowly places back down there in 9th, 10th and 11th at the moment, as the rest of the field right out there at the front, and a bit of a battle going on there with Sergei then and Vincent Lehook, and also the veteran racer Andy Andrews in car number 17. Bertrand Zor also in there in car 71. That's where the action is, right at the front of this European late model stock car series race here at the Warnerton Speedway. Tony Roots again showing very, very good in the all green 77 car. Back on board we go with Gary Ellis, and we hear that accelerator pedal being wedged through the floor of this car as he gives that V8 everything he does, give it everything, and spins it around in a perfect 360.
Yellow, turn 4 and slow down, turn 4, slow down.
So the yellow's out then for Gary, who did execute a perfect donut just when he didn't want to, really.
66.71.
That was me mentioning just how hard he was pushing that throttle pedal, and just a wee bit too hard perhaps, as Gary lost the back end. Uncharacteristic mistake, and we can see here just whop, around it goes. These cars, temperamental beasts to drive with huge, huge brake horsepower under the bonnet. So then, the field regroups for the resumption of racing for this Heat 2. Josh Janssen in the matte black treble 2 car, we can see there's currently in 6th place. As away we go, the greens are back out again. Gary right at the back now has got to power his way through the entire pack to get into the podium places. At all times we carry the instructions from our race director, Roland van der Meers, as well. As Gary really is. Look at this pack of cars, absolutely not the width of a cigarette paper between any of them. It is fraught and frantic out there. But into the lead goes Andy Andrews then in car number 17, the veteran racer, with Bertrand Zor in 2nd place and Vincent Lehook now in 3rd. Sergio back there down into 4th now, and coming under some pressure from Sean Vasseur and Xavier van der Meers. Previous heat winner Wim Moonen back down in 9th place at the moment. Xavier van der Meers looking very, very good in that patchwork quilt car. And look at this, Gary Ellis right from the very back of the grid following his spin. He's powering once again his way through the pack. As to is Xavier van der Meers. Xavier 4 or 5 car lengths in front of Gary Ellis at the moment. So the white line, which has been repainted, is so very, very important. We can hear there our race director telling Sergio in car number 3, either you keep to the inside of that white line or you will be black flagged. Black flag would be disqualification, and that would be the end of this racing. The blue flag is being waved to just let drivers know there are faster cars that are trying to get past, and or you must hold your line. Now race controllers here at the Speedway rule of discipline of racing with a wrong line, and it shows. All these drivers at phenomenal racing speeds with phenomenal power at their disposal, supremely well disciplined. So 5 laps left to run then, and Gary Ellis is right on the back bumper of Jean Vasseur in car number 07. Andy Andrews is still leading. So 95 then and 07 side by side. There's Xavier Vandermeer just in front, 3 laps left to run. It's Andrews that leads, Bertrand Saur is in second place, Vincent Lehook is third, and Wim Moonen, look, with a gaggle of Raptor racing cars around him. Black and yellow looking really, really smart there. Again, Gary Ellis trying everything he can. Now, just Gary is an exponent of how to use this white line. Dives up the inside, and now he'll have to stay with that inside line until he has a gap to go back outside. He, of course, being the last car in that pack of 3, he's able to choose his line. And trying to decide which is the best line for him to try and get past Jean Vasseur. Goes from the outside. John has just got the edge. Gary really tries to make the power count and get the traction into the next turn. Not enough. Jean Vasseur has got the shorter way round. So Andy Andrews it is then that's coming under pressure in this, the last few yards of this race from Bertrand Saur, but Bertrand couldn't make it count. Andy Andrews, the veteran racer it is, that takes the win then in Heat 2 of the European Late Model Series here at Warnerton Speedway. Well done to Bertrand Saur, brilliant show from him, and also Vincent Lehook too. So the official results then, Andy Andrews, Bruce Andrews takes the win, Bertrand Saur second, Vincent Lehook third, Xavier Vandermeer fourth, Jean Vasseur fifth, Gary Ellis sixth, Anton Gonnerson seventh, and Wim Moonen 8th place.
Once again, all the years of experience came to play. No one was getting near.
Well, we just, take advantage of it. Back in the back, they were fighting for position, and I was out front, and that's one of the good things. But bad here, if you're tangled up in a bunch of cars, it's hard to pass.
Just as we close, Andy, track conditions been changeable because we've had showers today. Did it affect your strategy at all?
Oh yeah, from the first race, the track was very slick for everyone, and this race was had a lot more grip.
Well, great to see the veterans hanging in there with the young guns.
Wim Moonen, bocht 4. Achter Tony Roots, behind the 77. And 95, go outside Xavier, outside the 19. Oh, yeah, 95, 19. Green!
So the multilingual race director that is Roland Vandermeers then sends the cars away for Heat 3 in the sunshine here at the Warnerton Speedway. As once again our cameras on board the 95 car Gary Ellis on the outside of Xavier Vandermeers. Once again it's Dan Boys that thunders off into the lead for this, the third heat on the banked oval here at Warnerton Speedway, right on the border of Belgium and France. The only place in Europe you'll see true NASCAR racing. And look at them power their way through. So once again on board we go with Gary Ellis trying to get the better of Xavier Vandermeers by using the wide, high outside line, and he's sticking with that. We've got Wim Moonen, earlier race winner, of course, took victory in E1, and Gary will be right alongside him any moment now. Bertrand Saur is the car directly in front, that's car number 71. And look at that gaggle, that big pack of European late model cars. Bertrand Saur just has a moment there, gets it a little bit sideways, but keeps it all completely under control in car number 71. Jos Janssen in the matte black treble 2 is in front of him. 77, Tony Roots on the inside, sporting the GW&G Bridges car breakers logo down the side of his European late model, and Gary Ellis takes a wonderful move and gets through and eliminates a couple of cars in one hit. Brilliant driving from Gary Ellis in car number 95. So Vincent Lehook there is being hounded by Kelvin Hassel, also Jos Janssen, and look at Gary Ellis already up there into 5th and 6th places at the moment. This battle really in the early stages of this race. There's Dan Boys who's leading us away. Vincent Lehook is second. Kelvin Hassel already up to third. Then it's Jos Janssen, and then this guy, Gary Ellis, alongside Jos Janssen, trying to get on terms with Kelvin Hassel, and also Vincent Lehook in the orange and white machine in this European late model series. And straight on board with Gary Ellis as the battle continues. And Gary, where will he go? Wide outside now to try and get alongside Kelvin Hassel in car number 13. Can he make the outside line stick? Generally speaking, yes so. And indeed he does, just gets his nose in front of Kelvin Hassel. Jos Janssen right behind in car number 222. Now Vincent Lehook takes a look on the outside because he knows Gary's coming. Oh, Gary gets a little bit too far out there, and Kelvin Hassel is able to pull just a couple of yards on it. This really is a nip and tuck stuff here. Back straight they go. Then it's turns 3 and 4 at this Warnerton Speedway. 3 8-mile banked ovals. We see Dan Boys go through. Dan Boys leading the way. A couple of the Raptor racing cars together there. But there is Gary Ellis in car number 95. Kelvin Hassel right behind him in car 13. Vincent Lehouk driving a brilliant race at the moment, really defending his place against car number 95, Gary Ellis. Gary takes another look up the outside, but it's Dan Boys in car number 5 that is leading the way. In the Roots V8 Racing hire car, you too could be out here having a go in this championship if you so desired. So Gary Ellis then is going to reel him in now. Surely it's only a matter of time. So Gary Ellis, car number 95, and it's going to be Dan Boys in car number 5. He dives to the outside to try and get some extra momentum. Dan Boys keeps it nice and tight below the white line, and Gary is able to just power his way through in a perfect overtaking move. In this, the European Late Model Series, it's Gary Ellis then in car number 95 that leads. Dan Boys is second in car number 5, and now Gary has got an absolutely empty track in front of him. He'll be able to put in some really good lap times already. He's built up a lead of 5 or 6 car lengths in the space of just one lap. Absolutely magnificent stuff from Gary Ellis in car 95. Kelvin Hassel driving supremely too in car number 13, having a real battle with Vincent Lehouk, and Dan Boys in there as well. Real and just almost a little bit of a touch there from Vincent Lehouk on the back corner of Kelvin Hassel, but his driver's so well disciplined they know him to let off most of it. So we're into our final lap then, and this is going to be the battle. This is going to be the battle for second and third place. Who's going to take it? Kelvin Hassel has got his nose in front of the moment, but Dan Boys will be desperate if he can to make it count. Gary Ellis it is then that takes the checkers. Who's going to get second? Who's going to get third? It looks like it's going to be Kelvin Hassel. Dan Boys then Vincent Lehouk. Another astounding race from the European Late Model Series here at the Warnerton Speedway, where the win is taken by Gary Ellis. Second, Kelvin Hassel. Third was Dan Boys. Vincent Lehouk, 4th place for him. Jos Janssen, 5th. Tony Roots, 6th. Anton Donaldson, 7th. And Kurt Dujardin was 8th.
Gary Ellis, previous 2 heats, you've been boxed in. You even had a little spin, a little pirouette, Gary, but you just there was almost a presence about you in that race. You thought, I'm going to have this one.
Yeah, the second one, the track was very, very slippy, and I was just trying the outside, and that one, I just decided I was going to go through the hole. So,
as a racing driver, you see yourself in the car. Now, every racing driver wants to win every race they're in, but it just seemed almost psychologically there was something that you switched on and said, I'm going to have this one, come what may.
To a degree, but I need to try the car for the final.
And that big 75-lap marathon final is coming in our next programme. Will Gary Ellis' strategy work? Find out next time we go European late model stock car racing. more late model stock car racing, and coming up, the longest race of the season. So hot and humid now. We saw showers of rain and overcast and cloudy earlier on. Just proves how the weather is so very, very changeable here at Warnerton. What's also changeable is race duration. We've had 3 20-lap races. Next race on the agenda is a real enduro, 75 laps, the longest race that these European late model cars will undertake. And there's a gaggle of drivers in the garage here. We're just going to check out how exactly anyone prepares for such a long race. Andy Andrews, first of all, race win already today, 75 lap race. One of the older drivers here. How on earth do you prepare for that physically?
Well, normally I start off about 2 days before, drinking plenty of water, trying to get plenty of rest, trying to not drink too much alcohol, and then
that's because actually in the car it's hot, it's humid, and it's probably fair to say the race will go with a stop, which perhaps gives you a breath of fresh air, but that's all.
Yeah. Other than that, you don't think about how hot it is. You think about how well you're doing and what you need to do better.
So without being rude now, both ends of the age scale in terms of European late model racing. Kelvin Hassel, driver number 13, 75 lap race. Kelvin, fine physical specimen that you are, being fit and healthy, that must help?
It does, I think. That said, I haven't been able to beat Tony in the last few times we've done this race, but I'm hoping for better things today.
It is a long race, it's very hot now, it's very humid. Does it really take it out of you? I mean, I've not been in that position, so I don't know what that like. Tell me how it feels as a driver.
It does take it out of you, but I'm hoping it's going to take it out of the others more than it takes it out of me.
Well, we shall see. All will be told very soon. Tony Roots, returnee after a while away from the racing. Glimmers of inspiration, it has to be said. Glimmers of hope of that race win coming back. To be fair, Tony, 75 laps can be blooming hard for you, isn't it?
It's a long way for me. I'm getting worn out on 25 laps. I don't know what's going to happen. If the car, I'm going to alter the car again in a minute. If I can get it to handle a bit better, less work, car will go quicker, and it'll be easier, and I'll enjoy it. But if the car's not right, then I'll see me last about 40. I'll do 40 slow ones as well. There won't be 40 quick ones because I'll be conserving everything for the end, of course.
So former A1 GP race engineer, start marshal extraordinaire and lightning rod racer as well, Christoph van der Kerkhoff. We've seen you out in the European late models earlier in the year, and you've had a degree of success. Unbelievably, the number 4 car appears in the last race, and with 5 minutes notice you're told to jump in it and go racing. That's a heck of a challenge, isn't it?
It was a hell of a challenge. It was already a hard and busy day, and now obviously I got the call, like you say. I thought actually they told me I could race, and I thought it was only for the big race. So I never knew I had to do the next one, and they suddenly, why you're not in the car? And I said, oh, I better get going then. And I asked Roland to wait 5 minutes, so I got my helmet on, okay, and my stuff. And I was there. So.
You were there. Now the car seemed to be a bit wayward, perhaps a bit loose. The back end was struggling a bit, so probably not set up to your liking, but you still drove it very well.
Yeah, I did actually. It was very loose. I mean, obviously it's always good to get a bit of practice on, and I've driven several cars, and to get them going well, you obviously need to do a few laps, do a few changes, and then get it right for yourself, which I hadn't had time to do that, obviously. But hopefully with that one race we can set it up for the final, and hopefully I can go from there.
Now, as a racing driver, Christoph, 75 laps, very long racing final. Takes a lot out of the car, takes a lot out of you physically as well. How do you prepare for a race like that?
Well, I didn't have any preparation at the time, so I just take it like it comes, and I would say stay out of trouble, and 75 laps is a long time. So, and try and keep the tires fresh for the last 25 laps, let's say. Stay out of trouble for the first 50 and go for the last 25.
So Christoph van der Kerkhoff then going to go for the last 25. And it is 75 laps around this 3/8 mile banked oval.
Then we have the second group, 66 is inside and 13 is outside. 66 inside. Number 3, stay out. Number 3, slow down, slow down.
And our race director then, Roland van der Meersch, getting the grid into order, and once he's satisfied, then the cars get themselves around the raceway, waiting in anticipation for the all-important green flag. So right on the French-Belgian border then, here in the fields of Flanders at the Warnerton Speedway, the biggest field of the year, contests the longest race of the year in this European Late Model Series. And right at the very front of this packed grid of cars then, it's Winston Graham in the black 34 car and Vincent Lehook alongside him in the all-orange machine. And what a sight it is, all these cars getting themselves away around this Warnerton Speedway with the Kelvin Hassel car, the orange-roofed black vehicle, making good progress. Right at the back we see 07 Jean Vasseur and also Gary Ellis in car number 95. But look at this, right at the front, Vincent Lehook, who's building up a bit of a lead over Winston Graham now. Bertrand Zor in there as well for good measure. And the Raptor racing cars beginning to make infields into the top 3-4 places now. There's a real batch, the first 5 cars, then there's a bit of a gap before we get into the cars that are jostling for 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th position, and Xavier Van der Meersch is in there already in the number 19 car. 75 laps of hot rock in action around the Warnerton Speedway to come, and we're in the early stages of this race. 34 Winston Graham, there's Kelvin Hassel going through, then the white machine, white and blue and green machine now of Xavier Van der Meersch, who is making fantastic progress. Gary Ellis and Jean Vasseur there in 07 and 95, a little bit boxed in. We can hear our race director advising drivers what to do all the time and where to go and where not to go. So Gary Ellis goes low, inside now, trying to get past car number 5. And he succeeds, and Wim Moonen follows suit as well, the Dutch driver in the yellow car number 73, former lightning rod champion here at this very track. Hugely experienced racer is Wim Moonen, and he's been battling around 4th and 5th place in the championship for the entire season. So a huge crowd here to watch this 75-lap endurance race from these European late model cars. So it's Ellis, Vasseur and Van der Meersch who are all separated by just a handful of points for that championship, and one of those drivers goes round, Jean Vasseur, 07.
Carina, heb je wat gezien? Green, 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 green.
So away we go again, and all the lead that Vincent Lehook had built up counts as naught in this restart. And look, Gary Ellis already in there in a tangle of cars trying to get through as we go on board with one of the Raptor racing cars, and we can see the back end of Xavier Van der Meersch. Xavier, Gary Ellis and Jean Vasseur, those are the 3 that are battling right at the top of the championship points table at the moment, and Xavier Van der Meersch is looking really good in this 75-lap race. Around the outside he goes as we see the damaged number 4 car off to safety on the infield. So Gary Ellis there goes Tony Roots in 77. These cars absolutely thundering through as we go back on board around the outside of Kelvin Hassel, who's driving car number 13 with the orange roof. The orange roof denotes absolutely nothing, he just likes the colour. So this Raptor racing car around the high outside line, going great guns indeed. We've got treble 2, Jos Janssen right in front of us. And there is our race leader, Vincent Lehook. Then it is car number 22, another one of those Raptor racing superstars, Anton Gunnarsson, who's being hounded by Xavier Van der Meersch. And Xavier trying to find the inside line. Surely he'll have it now. We go back on board to see what it's like from a driver's eye perspective, and that's what happens when Jos Janssen tries to cut your nose off. Jos goes round, and Kurt Dujardin, his teammate, having to take evasive action and very nearly crunching the wall, but he avoided it. Incredible stuff from these European late model drivers who mean every bit of it. Desperate to win this, the longest race of the year for them. There's Jos Janssen in treble 2 then. So while they sort out the muddle, we're going to take a quick break.
We are ready, gentlemen, we are ready, and it's still a very long way to go.
Green, 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 green. Green, 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 we are ready, and it is a long way to go. And it's a long way to go for 66. Vincent Lehook then, who is leading this race. To his outside is Anton Gunnarsson. Right behind him it's Xavier Van der Meersch, as we go on board with Kurt Dujardin to see what it's like now as they battle up front. The places 1, 2, 3 occupied by Vincent Lehook, then it's Xavier Van der Meersch, and then to his outside then it is Anton Gunnarsson. Absolute V8, awesome power, thundering around this 3/8 mile oval here at Warnerton with Gary Ellis and Jean Vasseur from the earlier stoppage having made great progress to get back on terms. But this is where the action is, right at the front. Vincent Lehook is driving absolutely superbly and holding those drivers at bay. Xavier Vandermeers looks inside, outside, tries to find a way around the car number 66. Right now he's going high outside and he's going for that outside line. Just can he get alongside enough to make it count? He really is trying, giving it everything he can. Xavier Vandermeers then in the blue, white and green backed car, number 19. He's staying with that outside line. Once again, we go on board with Kurt Dujardin, who is currently holding third place and now himself takes a look on the outside. We almost thought Xavier had done enough, but no, not so. So it's Lehook, then it's Xavier Vandermeers, and look, Gary Ellis a long way back in car number 95. He's got a lot to make up. Gary is one of the trio right at the top of the championship table, and a bit of a whale tail on there for Vincent Lehook. Was that enough for Xavier Vandermeers to get around and just get his nose in front? Surely, yes, he's done it. He is through, and he takes the lead. Xavier Vandermeers then in car number 19. Little puff of smoke out of the back of the car. I'm sure the engine is saying thanks very much, Xavier. He's absolutely burying his foot through the floor on the accelerator pedal.
Leaders are coming. Stay inside. 34. Stay inside. Okay.
So Winston Graham then, a backmarking car, being told by race control to stay inside. He stay inside, he does, as we go back on board with Raptor Racing. Vincent Lehook does go past the backmarking 34 car of Winston Graham, and so too Kurt Dujardin, who we're on board with. In third place, it's Xavier Vandermeers that's leading the way. Then it's Vincent Lehook with the drive of his life, the best drive we've seen from him this season, in second place in the orange and white car. And then Kurt Dujardin from Raptor Racing, who now is beginning to pile the pressure on. Absolutely nothing between these cars at all, going round here at an absolutely ferocious pace. Weather conditions absolutely perfect for driving, and Lehook goes! Indeed, yellows are out, and Vincent Lehook goes.
Number two at the back of the field.
So Kurt Dujardin then gets a black cross for helping number 66 around and has to go right to the very back. This formula is ruled by a rod of iron from our race controller, Roland Vandermeers.
Okay, gentlemen, we are ready to go. We are ready.
Kurt Dujardin then right to the back he goes, and now look at this. As once again we go green, 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 green. All of a sudden this looks a different race. So alongside Xavier Vandermeers now is the 2007 champion. It's 07 Jean Vasseur, who had a spin earlier on. Wim Moonen, who's been battling around 4th and 5th in the championship, is now up to 3rd place. The Dutch driver Wim Moonen in the all-yellow car. This is going to be one heck of a battle at the front. So Jean Vasseur in 2nd place. Xavier Vandermeers leads. Wim Moonen is 3rd. Then we see Tony Roots. And then Anton Gunnarsson in 4th place. But right at the very front then, Xavier Vandermeers propels his V8 powered motor around here like a thing possessed. He's got his nose in front and he wants to keep it there. We go back on board with Kurt Dujardin, who already has made a real effort to get back on terms, as befits the Raptor Racing team name. He is like a bird of prey, ready to swoop right now on the car of Tony Roots, number 77. Xavier Vandermeers still leads. Jean Vasseur tracking him every step of the way. And the big guy in the yellow car from the Netherlands, Wim Moonen, in 3rd place.
77, okay.
So Xavier Vandermeers got perhaps a couple of car lengths lead over Jean Vasseur right now. Is Jean just letting his tyres cool down a bit and then bringing them back on? We don't know what strategies are playing through these drivers' minds. It's a long, heavy-duty race for these guys. And Kurt Dujardin already, look, from the back of the field, he's battling alongside Tony Roots on the inside. Kurt Dujardin then sent right to the back of the grid for helping Vincent Lehook get spinning round. But already has made tremendous pace and is coming through nicely into 4th place right now. And that's the car we're on board with as Wim Moonen spits flame out of the back of his all-yellow European late model car, as does Jean Vasseur in anger. But it's Xavier Van der Meers that's leading. There is 07 Jean Vasseur. Wim Moonen really tracking in now.
There's a car slowing down.
Now this looks like bad news indeed for Gary Ellis. Gary Ellis, we've just passed his car number 95. It was on the infield. Looked like there was something wrong with that car. And his two biggest competitors in the championship are 1 and 2 in this race at the moment. So bad news for Gary Ellis, but let's get back to the race. And this is the race that's being run by Xavier Van der Meers at the moment. Then we see 07 Jean Vasseur. Wim Moonen in the all-yellow car is still there in third. And this guy, who's made a tremendous effort from the back of the grid, Kurt Dujardin, to get back on terms and be in a place position at the moment. He dives up the inside. The black car in front is 34, Winston Graham, who's a back-marking car. And loads of panel work falling off the back of Winston Graham's car from an earlier skirmish.
Look in your mirrors.
So Anton Gonnersen from the Raptor Racing team is also moving up, and we can see Kelvin Hassel in there as well. Those are the battles for 5th, 6th and 7th place going on as we continue right up front here. Jean Vasseur we can see in 2nd place. Bertrand Zor there, and Wim Moonen goes round. Wim Moonen spins out. Wim Moonen, who's sat in 3rd place as we see the waved yellows once again.
There's 15 laps remaining, shootout. No more yellow now, except of course for an accident.
Oh, so it is going to be a 15-lap dash for the cash then.
Green.
And we get the greens as we go for this high-speed shootout. 15 laps remain. And right at the front there, Jean Vasseur and Xavier Van der Meers doing everything they can, and it looks like Kelvin Hassel. Well, I was going to say it looked like he'd blown up. There was a huge pail of smoke out of the back of his car, which if that is the case, of course, that will have dumped oil on the track. But everything seems to be okay at the moment. Away we go. Wim Moonen, look at the damage on his car from that earlier spin. So it's Vasseur and Van der Meers. The battle for the 1 and 2. There's Kelvin Hassel, the puff of smoke. Goodness only knows what that was about. It's gone now. Andy Andrews in car number 17 on the inside in 5th place currently. But it's Xavier Van der Meers and Jean Vasseur. Now, has Jean's tactics paid off? He let his tyres rest and cool down a bit. It looks like Xavier Van der Meers' car is very loose in the corners. That means the back end is getting round. Although after saying that, Jean Vasseur locks up as he piles the pressure on the brakes. And now, Dujardin is going to take a look around the outside, is he? This is the battle right at the front.
07 last call. Next time you have a black flag.
So 07 being threatened with a black flag then for chopping and changing lanes. The white line that goes around this circuit, you have to choose whether you want to stay inside or outside. You can't change your mind at the last minute. If you do, you suffer the wrath of the race controller. So it's Xavier Van der Meers that is leading. It's Jean Vasseur doing everything he can to get on terms with him. With just 5 laps remaining, Kurt Dujardin, who's desperately trying to find something. So is Jean Vasseur. Xavier again gets it very sideways. So just 5 laps left. Xavier, you have to say, has kept his nose really clean out front. And what's this? A little bit of a battle going on there between Kelvin Hassel and Anton Gonnersen in car number 22. And Anton Gonnersen gets the better of it and he goes through. And more yellows!
Yellow, slow down. Turn 4.
And that's the reason why. Bertrand Zor in there and Vincent Lehouk as well. A bit of a spin there for Bertrand Zor in car number 71, the blue and red machine, and also Vincent Lehouk. And Vincent Lehouk earlier, you'll recall, led for the early stages of this 75-lap endurance race.
66, you lost the car, you will have to go at the back of the field, 66.
So 66 then, Vincent Lehouk is being sent back to the back of the field, and there's only going to be 2 or 3 laps left of this race. My goodness me, this is going to be exciting stuff as Bertrand Zor gets a push and gets his car going again. Look at this lineup at the front. Oh, Incredible. Xavier Vandermeer, Jean Vasseur in second place. Then we see Kurt Dujardin, then it's Wim Moonen, then it's Anton Gunnarsson, then it's Kelvin Hassel. They occupy the top 6 places with number 17, Andy Andrews, who's currently on grid and looking at a 7th position.
66, you go at the back of the field.
So 66 once again being told to go back to the back of the field. Dan Boy's driving the all-red number 5 car right in the middle of the shot at the moment. So,
gentlemen, we have 2 laps to go, and
2 laps is
now.
all that remains. This is going to be such a fight to the finish, as the cars are all bunched together now. Xavier knows he's got an awful lot of work to do to protect that first place from Jean Vasseur. Here we go. This is it, the 2-lap dash to the checkers. Jean Vasseur and Xavier Vandermeer are absolutely side by side. Xavier seems to have just got the edge, or has he? Jean Vasseur fights back. 1 lap, it's the last lap, the final of this 75-lap endurance special. And Jean Vasseur is trying to get alongside. He's done it. He's through. That is remarkable. Surely Jean Vasseur has done enough. He crosses the line with his nose ahead of Xavier Vandermeer. Then it looks like Kurt Dujardin, then it's Anton Gunnarsson, and then it's Wim Moonen.
So the winner is the 19 because the 07 had black cross.
It's a pleasure to win a race after the big crash, and I didn't have to win absolutely because I knew he had a cross, so it was not necessary to battle till the end. If he was first, that was not a problem. With the cross he came through.
So Jean Vasseur then crossed the line first. Earlier cross means you get pushed back 1 place, so second place. But second place in such a race,
yes,
good.
Second place, no. No, it doesn't take a lot of point on me, so second place is fine for me.
So Anton Gunnarsson then, Raptor Racing, elevated to 3rd position on the podium. Many congratulations.
Thank you very much. As you have seen, it is not the one who comes with the smartest car who is the first on the track. But anyway, I was 3rd this time, and I fought for it, as you have seen.
It was a hard-fought battle, and what surprised me was it was a hard-fought battle for nearly every one of those 75 laps.
I think that applies in particularly to me, because as you have seen, there was a weird event that brought me to the back of the field. From the back of the field back to 3rd was a battle. I can guarantee you a battle that can only be fought in 1 tour.
And he did fight it in Warnerton as Kurt Dujardin, his teammate, down to 4th. So Xavier takes the win, Jean Vasseur 2nd, Anton Gunnarsson we've just seen 3rd, and Kurt Dujardin then in 4th with Wim Moonen and Kelvin Hassel 5th and 6th places. Wow, look at this championship now. Jean Vasseur and Xavier Vandermeer neck and neck on 1,268 points, with Gary Ellis 3rd, Wim Moonen 4th in the championship, and Bertrand Zor in 5th.
Well, the European late model racing done and dusted here at the Warnerton Speedway, where the sun is shining, and as you can see, still some racing going on here. So for the European late models, it's off to another track, the 3rd type of racetrack that they will have encountered on their inaugural season. The tight confines of the quarter-mile Vauxhall Heath Raceway at Ipswich. Please join us from there.
Gentlemen,
The UK tour for the European Late Model Series continues. First it was the Garden County of Kent at the Liddon Hill racetrack, then into Suffolk and the Vauxhall Heath Raceway at Ipswich, and now we're in the heart of Staffordshire. We're on the Cannock Chase at a raceway called Hennersford Hills. Now this place, it really is a natural amphitheatre. It was developed originally as a reservoir. However, there was a fundamental problem. The reservoir leaked. So I think first race took place here back in the 50s, and since then it really has emerged as one of the UK's fastest small oval raceways, which the European Late Model Series are truly gonna love. So prior to Hennesford, as I mentioned, the late models had raced spectacularly under the lights at Vauxhall Stadium in Ipswich with plenty of thrills and spills. Championship contender Jean Vasseur had a huge shunt here with Winston Graham. Pleasingly, both drivers okay as we see Winston getting out of his car. That was in the final, and that final race was eventually checkered flag awarded to Gary Ellis as we see him take the win here. He had also taken a heat win, as had Kelvin Hassel driving Tony Root's machine. Also starring at Ipswich and here at Hennesford, Shane Brereton. Your Ascar, very, very quick, seemingly out of the box, Shane.
Yeah, I set it up like my hot rod. Just done it to go the other way round, and it seems to have worked. I'm very pleased.
Okay, gentlemen, we are ready for 2 warming up laps. Take care here at the start. There's water, but it's treated.
So race director Roland van der Meersch indicating there might be a problem.
Okay, we are ready to go to green, gentlemen.
So away we go then with Heat 1 for the European Late Model Series here at the Hennesford Hills Raceway. You can see the track there where it has been treated for water and other substances.
Yellow, turn one.
Already a yellow flag as Wim Moonen has gone round and Xavier van der Meersch. So as you can see, we have a red flag. That means this Heat 1 is being abandoned, and that brought about by the track conditions. As we see Chris Roots return to the paddock, you can see exactly what we mean. So then, to Heat 2 we go, and Tractor Boy in car number 98 alongside Paul Bowman in 39 lead the way. We're on board with Colin White, another one of those former Ascars. This is car number 78 as we go racing. This is Heat 2, Hennesford Hills Raceway in Staffordshire. The European Late Models' first visit to this track. And hopefully Heat 2 is going to be a sight better than the abandoned Heat 1. All those cars go through, as does Shane Brereton. We can see there car number 48 adorned as a tribute to the 3 times NASCAR Sprint Cup champion Jimmy Johnson. But back to the front we go, and it is Tractor Boy that leads the way, the Suffolk youngster in car number 98. Championship contender right at the back, Gary Ellis, and another contender that we're on board with now, looking backwards, Jean Vasseur, as Shane Brereton gets on terms with him, but it is Tractor that leads the way. Colin White making good progress around the outside. We see Shane Brereton trying to go around the outside of Jean Vasseur. In the meantime, everyone comes through. Xavier van der Meersch having a tough time of it on the inside line. Jean Vasseur going around the back of him. That's right at the back of the grid. Just as we see that, Xavier van der Meersch retires. Back on board we are with Colin White now, who's in 4th place, trying to make it 3rd. Paul Bowman in the ASBF car right in front of us gets a little bit wobbly, exiting that turn 2. But it's Tractor Boy from Keith Wally, from Paul Bowman, and Colin White desperately trying to turn 4th place into 3rd at the moment. Look at this. Colin will dive up the inside now. No, he won't. What am I talking about? He's tracking every step of the way. Paul Bowman and staying outside high, trying to get alongside him. Some real panel rubbing racing. If only he got the opportunity to get alongside him. Colin seemingly can't quite get the traction, or does he do it this time as Tractor goes round in 98? That'll bring out the yellows for sure. So Tractor Boy, who was leading, just got a little bit too eager, donuts his way back round again, and he'll go right to the back of the field. What a shame for him, but that of course will elevate Keith Wally in the red, car number 88, to assume the lead as once again the green goes down, and he does, and Colin White now in car 78 is in 2nd place. But watch this, the Flying Dutchman, Wim Moonen in the all-yellow 73 car. Wim Moonen, former lightning rod champion. He knows how to drive a car, and he knows how to get around an oval like this here at Hennesford Hills. As we look back at Chris Roots driving Tony's car, Keith Wally leads, Wim Moonen is 2nd, Colin White is really on the outside of Wim Moonen, and then the budget racer in car number 13, Kelvin Hassel, is coming through, as too is Shane Brereton in car number 48. So flapping bonnet there we can see from Gary Ellis, but this is the guy that's leading the way. Keith Wally in car number 88 with the Flying Dutchman right behind him, then Kelvin Hassel, and there is Gary Ellis. Oh, and he gets a little bit sideways out of turn 4, but 88 is leading the way. Under pressure now from Wim Moonen, and Kelvin Hassel takes a dive up the outside. Colin White has been left behind. So at the moment then, Colin White we're on board with, and we can see the battle up front as the Flying Dutchman gets passed by Kelvin Hassel in car number 13. So Wim Moonen then is down into third place. Colin is currently fourth. Kelvin Hassel is second. Keith Wally is leading. Paul Bowman we can see behind us as Jean Vasseur has gone past him. Paul Bowman effectively a backmarking car now. 88 Keith Wally then. Alongside him, Kelvin Hassel in car number 13, and Kelvin doing everything he can to get past the 88 car, and he does it. Kelvin Hassel goes into the lead in car number 13. The black car with the orange roof. Goodness only knows why, but he likes the colour orange. So Kelvin Hassel then. Keith Wally second, then is the Flying Dutchman Wim Moonen in third. Under tremendous pressure now from Shane Brereton. And there we can see that battle as Chris Roots, driving Tony's car number 77, gets up the inside of Colin White. And Tony now up into 5th place. Colin is currently 6th. 4th now is Keith Wally in 88. 3rd is Shane Brereton. 2nd, oh, and Shane Brereton very nearly loses it. Awesome power of these V8 European late models. Wow. It's a challenge controlling all that power in a tight quarter-mile oval, but that's exactly what they're doing, and they're doing it to a great accomplishment here at Hennesford Hills. Huge crowd enjoying this European late models first visit here to Hennesford Hills as Chris Roots trying to get past Keith Wally. He really is on the outside of him, doing everything he can. It's nip and tuck, there's nothing between them. And now Colin White joins the fray as well, as he normally just gets his nose in front now, Chris Roots, and he does it. But that is our race leader, Kelvin Hassel, who's off into the distance. I'm almost inclined to say having a privileged drive up the front there. Wim Moonen second, then it's Shane Brereton in third place. Gary Ellis has lost that flapping bonnet we mentioned earlier in the race. That's away in the distance somewhere. However, it won't hamper his progress. In fact, it might even provide a little bit of extra cooling for the engine. So Gary Ellis there in 95, alongside him Xavier van der Meers. Those two, of course, having a real battle along with this guy, 07 Jean Vasseur, who's in there as well. They're battling right at the top of the championship table. And a good showing here at Hennesford Hills is crucial to maintaining their positions in the championship. So Gary Ellis and Xavier having a real battle there, and Jean Vasseur about to join in as well. Here the backmarking 39 car, and Kelvin Hassel has got to get past that, and Wim Moonen is in there for second place with Shane Brereton up to third, and Chris Roots now beginning to try and make that place his, but it's Kelvin Hassel that leads. Kelvin along the outside of Paul Bowman in car number 39. Kelvin Hassel, Wim Moonen, then it's Shane Brereton, then it's car number 77, Chris Roots. So with the closing stages of this race that we're into right now, surely Kelvin has done enough to make it his. As Colin White goes round, right in the final stages of this race, Colin White gives it a footful too much as the young lady gives us the checkered flag officially. Well, we're going to declare that race and declare that a win for driver number 13, Kelvin Hassel, and well done to him.
Kelvin Hassel, then, at last you're out there on track, because it's been a bit of a frustrating day here at Hennesford. For one reason or another, Heat 2 effectively became your first heat.
Yes, it did. I'm not sure what happened in Heat 1. We had issues with the track not being clean, lots of cars sliding off, and I think half of it they should have cleaned the track, and half of it some of us drivers should have stayed on when we didn't. And but it's good. We got out for the second race and won it. So,
yeah, and a fantastic result for you. Now, again, as I've seen so often with your racecraft, your racecraft sort of belies your young years, really. You do drive with your head and you see the opportunity and know when to go for it.
Oh, I try to. It's very nice of you to say so.
Get your hair cut, Kelvin. Okay, taking the win then, he does. Kelvin Hassel, second place Shane Brereton, who nicked it away from Wim Moonen, who ended up third. Chris Roots was fourth, Keith Wally fifth, and Xavier van der Meers sixth. And we go into the final after this break.
Welcome back to the race action with the European Late Model Series here at Hennesford Hills.
And yes, this the race final. P1 still to come. I know it's confusing. Stick with us. It will all become clear. So a warm-up lap to be done for these cars then as their feature final gets underway. P1 was abandoned due to track conditions, and that's why it's going to be run right at the end of the race day, providing there is sufficient time. So we're into the final already. Bowman and Tractor Boy leading them away. We're back on board with Jean Vasseur as we get a green flag and away we go racing for the feature final for these European late model series. Lee Maddox, the Tractor Boy, on the outside of Paul Bowman in car number 39. So it's a little bit of a head start for these former ASCAR cars to get away from the vying pack as they come thundering through around this Hendersford Hills Raceway. Colin White there in car number 78 on the outside of Winston Graham. And there right at the back, big battle going on between Gary Ellis and heat winner Kelvin Hassel. So 77 is not Tony Roots in that green machine, it is his son Chris Roots who's taken to the track today. So Jean Vasseur then, I thought he was going to get a huge shunt there from Shane Brereton, who managed to chuck it sideways, as does Wim Moonen as well. Wow, poetry in motion damn near as these European late models go round. Let's see it again then. Shane got in so very, very close, and then the tail end just slipped out and he couldn't control it with opposite lock. Wim Moonen then takes evasive action and spins it around as well to avoid a collision. Great driving from those guys. So Wim Moonen back out on track then, along with Shane Brereton in that super looking car. Colin White will go on board with Colin White up to third place of the restart. Paul Bowman's going to lead them away. Then it's Tractor Boy and we get a green flag. Tractor tries to get a run on Paul, but he doesn't manage to do it, so he'll slot on the inside presumably. Paul Bowman leads in 39. Then it's Lee Maddox, Tractor Boy, then Colin White and the rest of them coming through. We go on board with Colin White, who knows the tractor sign at the back of Lee's car. So Colin dives up the inside, no, not quite, wasn't close enough to make it count, so Lee Maddox has still got the inside line. Colin White takes a look up the outside, and what a brilliant outbreak manoeuvre into turns 3 and 4 goes Colin White, desperate to have some success here at Hendersford Hills today. Keith Wally in 88 coming through as well, as to one of the top championship drivers at the moment, Xavier Van der Misch in car number 19. We're on board with Colin White, who's trying to make the outside line work for him so that he can go into the lead. Paul Bowman keeping it nice and tight inside. Colin White doing everything he can, using all his years of racing experience. But all those years of racing experience doesn't necessarily give him the grip he needs. And that's what he so desperately craves around this Hendersford Hills outside line. So we're almost willing him, we're with him, we're in the car trying to help him, but all of that counts as naught, or does it, as he has another attempt on the outside of Paul Bowman. Colin White desperately trying to get alongside. There we see Gary Ellis and Jean Vasseur, back with Jean Vasseur now, who's got Winston Graham right behind him. And just a little bit of a wobble there from Paul Bowman. Is that enough for Colin White? Paul goes wide, Colin takes evasive action but sticks in there, stays with that outside line. Surely he's done enough now just to get his nose in front. Yes, Colin White leads in car number 78. Wim Moonen has gone round but he's in safety. So Colin White at last, the former National Hot Rod World Champion, leads this race in car number 78, but my goodness me, he's got Xavier Van der Misch on his tail now. There's Jean Vasseur in 07, Gary Ellis trying to go through as well. So it's 78 versus 19 for the 1 and 2 places, P1 and P2. Chris Roots going really well in car number 77, but this is the lead car, this is the leader we're on board with. Wim Moonen's managed to get his car back out on track, and he's racing. So Colin White leads then in car number 78, the Glastonbury driver. But to his outside is Xavier Van der Misch, the Belgian driver, and Xavier just powers down there and gets his car in front. Superb overtaking manoeuvre from Xavier Van der Misch, absolutely textbook that one. So Xavier Van der Misch in car number 19 leads, and Colin White now is relegated to second place in the CWS 78 car. So a little puff of smoke from Xavier Van der Misch's machine. That won't worry him, that won't trouble him, seems to be going okay right out there in front. Huge crowd here at Hendersford. Colin White once again goes round, just gives it a little bit too much. Absolutely brilliant donut though to get it back on the racing line. Wow, it's as if nothing ever happened. It's just lost 3 or 4 places, which won't be to his liking, but there we are. So Colin White back out on track once again in that CWS machine. 78, those really smart liveried cars. So the rest of them follow through then. This is of course the feature final, and Xavier Van der Misch is leading. And he's got the back marking 88 Keith Wally car in front of him now. There's Chris Roots in car number 77. Gary Ellis doing well too. And Chris Roots and Gary Ellis, second, third, fourth places being played out here on track right now. Chris Roots really has taken to the awesome power of these European late models like the duck to water. Oh! And bad news for Winston Graham and Shane Bratton then. Collision there right in the closing stages of this race, within 1 or 2 laps left to run. Xavier Vandermeer is slowed right down for the yellows, but there we can see Winston Graham's car, and there is Shane Bratton. Race is declared, and onto the truck then, and to the applause of the crowd here at Hendersford Hills is Xavier Vandermeer. Xavier gets his way around the raceway then, and huge appreciative crowd here, and good to see. So, how did it finish? Xavier took the win then, Chris Roots was second, in third place was Gary Ellis, Kelvin Hassel was fourth, Colin White fifth, Paul Bowman sixth, and let's catch up right now with Chris Roots driving that number 77.
Yeah, certainly a different experience. The stock cars are a lot easier to drive, a lot smaller, a lot easier to control. These things have got so much power, so much grip, but when they lose the grip, they lose everything straight away.
Forgive me for saying this, Keith, but do you think that you'd be showing more at the front if you were able to devote a little bit more time to your racing?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I came into this, as you know, we spoke before, we came into this purely as a bit of fun for me. 6-7 meetings a year, that's going to be my max. I'm really tied in with these little legends here today, and that's where it's got to be. That's where my business is. That's what pays for me to go racing when I can with these guys. Yeah, I'd love to do more meetings, but I'm happy with what we're doing. Just wait and see what happens next year. I hope Tony's got a few surprises for us, and I hope you guys can still be involved and keep the fans coming on, because we are proving very popular.
So with our checkered flag livery dog, almost as excited as we are, I'm sure, we're going to go racing with Heat 1. So Heat 1 we go then. And it is Tractor Boy and Paul Bowman on the outside. Tractor Boy on this occasion has got the inside. Keith Wally, who we've just spoken to, is up into second place. Paul Bowman down there into third. So Tractor Boy had an earlier spin in one of the heats when he was leading. Is he going to hold it all together this time? Tractor Boy's family here in full effect, enjoying every moment here at Hendersford Hills. So Tractor Boy it is on the inside. Keith Wally though driving like a Trojan around the outside in that Race Car Direct all red liveried car of his. Colin White once again trying to get on terms. There's Sean Vasseur, Kelvin Hassel, previous winner, Chris Roots as well. This is Heat 1 then, a rerun of Heat 1 which was abandoned right at the start of the programme as we go on board with Colin White. Colin now seeming to have those grip issues sorted out. So Colin currently is in fourth place on track, doing well in the CWS 78 car. So it is Tractor Boy Lee Maddox in 98 that leads. Look at this pack of cars come thundering through, including the misshapen car of Gary Ellis in car number 95, the yellow-red one just in shot there. Kelvin Hassel in there with the orange roof, black car number 13 in 5th and 6th place with Jean Vasseur at the moment. And then the rest of them, look at this. Huge pack of cars trying to battle their way through here at the Hendersford Hills Raceway. Keith Wally is then in car number 88. Then we see Lee Maddox and Colin White. So once again, Keith Wally has his nose in front in the all-red machine as Colin White continues to battle around the outside of Tractor Boy in 98. Then it's to the 2007 champion, Sean Vasseur in 07. He's also on that outside line, and now he'll try and get alongside Colin White to get through into second place. Colin is second at the moment, Sean Vasseur third. Then it's Tractor Boy 98 who is currently fourth in this, the rerun of Heat 1 from earlier in the day. So Colin White in 78 and 07, Sean Vasseur battling there, and that's the battle for second place, which Sean Vasseur has very nearly got, or has he? So absolutely precision driving from these two as they battle lap after lap after lap alongside each other. And just a little bit of a whale tail then from Colin White is enough to send 07 Sean Vasseur through, or is it? Colin fights back. But no, Sean Vasseur has got his nose in to second place now. Shane Bratton trying to follow the same move around the outside in car number 48. Shane Bratton then alongside Colin White, both of those drivers, West Country drivers who used to have enormous battles in their career of national hot rod racing, these two. Colin White and Shane Bratton. Then, and look at this, they both get very sideways, and that meant Colin White had to dive for cover on the infield. Shane Brand managed to recover slightly better. Kelvin Hassel took advantage of that situation and went through and retains that inside line. Keith Wally is the lead, but look at this. Jean Vasseur has really reeled him in now in car number 07. So Jean Vasseur, the 2007 champion, will be delighted to take this Heat 1 win. Remember, this is a rematch.